For this third micro lecture in Module 4, I want to talk about or get into some more details regarding tropical forests, temperate forests, and your boreal or taiga forests. Very simply, tropical forests have the greatest diversity number of species. Your boreal forests, which are also called taiga forests, represent the largest terrestrial biome, as in the amount of total area occupied by these types of forests. And of course, temperate forests, if you look out your window or driving down the road, that's what you're seeing. They occur in eastern North America, northeastern Asia, and western and central Europe. However, for your tropical forests, some details. Tropical forests occur near the equator, and one of the major characteristics of tropical forests is their distinct seasonality. Winter is absent in tropical forests, and only two seasons are present. You have a rainy season and a dry season. You have a lot more daylight to extend the growing season, up to 12 hours, and that varies very little. You end up with a lot of precipitation and rain. The soil is very nutrient poor and acidic. A lot of people think that tropical forests have very rich soil to grow such huge trees, but actually all the nutrients are tied up in the canopy or in the vegetation itself. So when something does hit the ground, it decomposes very, very rapidly. And the canopy also in tropical forests is very multi-layered and continuous, which keeps things on the ground a little dark. A couple of other features. One thing to remember regarding diversity is that you have anywhere from 40 to 100 different tree species in a hectare of land, or 2.5 acres. So very diverse vegetation. Lots of vines, number of different species of vines grow in the rainforest. And most of the fauna, most of your animal life, exists actually in the trees. Temperate forests, on the other hand, have very well-defined seasons with a very distinct winter that characterizes this forest biome. Moderate climate, like you see here in North Carolina, a growing season of anywhere from 140 to 200 days, and you end up with anywhere from 4 to 6 frost-free months, which allows a lot of growth, allows a lot of diversity, but again, there are frosts which do limit what can grow. Canopy can be moderately dense, does allow light to penetrate, so you have a very stratified canopy in the temperate forests. Some other features of temperate forests, it really diversity on the species depends on soil. Soil is a major factor in determining what grows there. In sandy substrates or in sandy soils, you have pines beginning to replace your broadleaf species, and you can see that in North Carolina as you move from the mountains to the Piedmont to the coast. On your waterlogged or wetland sites on your northerly attitudes, you end up with kind of boggy species, where in the south you find pine savannas and bald cypress swamps. In the Mediterranean temperate forests, you have a lot more scrubby species, and the oak that they use to make wine corks grows in that particular region. But it's important also to note that most of the forests in eastern North America are all second growth. There are very few virgin stands left, but the amount of diversity in the eastern U.S. and especially in the southern Appalachians is incredible, and that's one of the reasons that the Great Smoky Mountains National Park has been designated an international biosphere reserve to try and help protect a lot of the rich species that exist in this forested area. The boreal or taiga forests are found in that kind of very broad belt of Eurasia and North America. 2/3 are in Siberia, and the rest are divided between Scandinavia, Alaska, and Canada. The seasons are divided into very short, moist, but moderately warm summers and very long, cold, and dry winters. And the length of the growing season in boreal forest is usually only up to about 120 to 130 days. You have a very thin, nutrient-poor soil, and a very dense forest when you have very low light penetration. Your understory growth is therefore quite limited, and most of your flora and fauna include species that are adapted to be able to survive in such cold weather. The taiga forest, if you followed the debate on ANWR, which is the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, ANWR is in this particular zone. It's a relatively unexploited forest biome due to the extreme environmental conditions. There are only so many months of the year that you can get heavy equipment into these areas. The boggy, peaty conditions make harvesting difficult during the summer when equipment can get stuck, but it also makes the impacts to this environment more extreme, and that's why it is considered a sensitive area that is prone